In this video, we will put together our storyboard from the frames that we exported last time. So our overall storyboard size is going to be 1680 pixels wide by 1380 pixels tall. And I got this based on this math that we're going to have 80 pixels between, and that would be 4 going across. So, and they're 320 pixels each, so that's 1280 plus the white space would be 400, the 5 divisions of 8, so that's a total of 1680 pixels wide. And then for the height, our original height of our frames was 450, 40% of that is 180, that's what we exported in the last video. There'll be 5 high images, so 5 times 180 is 900, and then the white space, that would be 8 divisions, right? Because you have 5 images, between them is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and then one up at the top and the bottom. If that doesn't make sense, you just draw that out. And if you're doing something different, you'll have to draw it out anyway and put in the size of your images and then the size of the space that you want. And you may want to fast forward on this to see what mine looks like, to see if you want a little bit more, a little bit less space in yours. Now, keep in mind that if you have more than 20 frames, you'll have to add to these numbers. So for example, if you wanted to add another, let's see, would that be a row or a column? I guess that would be a row to the bottom. You could have up to 24 frames, so you would add 40 more pixels in between, and then 180 pixels for the height of the frame. So that means that it would be 1600. And if you're doing something totally different than I am, then obviously you're braver anyway, and you're going to be writing these down on a piece of paper doing the math. But the good news is, if we get the math wrong, we can adjust the frame or stage, they call it, and animate at any time we're working in there. So let's just get started with these assumptions of 1680 by 1380. Okay, 1680, 1380 frame rate doesn't matter because this is just going to be one frame here. Typically you mount your storyboard on black matte paper if you're doing a in-person style one or a printed one. So I'll make the stage black. But now keep in mind, if you were doing a storyboard that had a lot of darkness going on in it, you might want to pick just a dark or even a light shade of gray, just depending on what makes your frames pop out the best. Okay, so let's import our images that we exported from the last video. So import, and I'm just going to put them in the library, and I'm at the folder that I created, and I'll just click on the first frame, go all the way down to the last frame that I exported, hold down the shift key, click, and then click open with all of them selected, and there we go, they're populated in the library now. On the stage, just so we can see how big that is, I'll just click anywhere in here and then do Command minus, or you can use the magnifying glass to get the right there with a holding down the Alt or the Option key will make it go smaller. So now we'll drag some of those from the library out onto the stage, just very approximately where they're going to go, and then I'll show you some ways to align. Okay, so what we're going to do to get the first one where we want is we're going to put it all the way up into the corner and kind of let the program help us snap it there, right? So we want that kind of look so we know that it's right in the corner. Then we go over to Properties, and we can see that with this selected, it's telling us that the X and the Y position of this item is at 0, 0. So meaning that top corner is at 0, 0. So what we're going to do, since we said we want 40 pixels between each one and 40 pixels from the sides, is we are going to enter in 40, 40 there. Then we're going to go to our fourth one, put it up in the corner, and it tells us that our X position is 360 or all the way over. We're going to put our mouse in here. We're going to put the minus sign and 40, hit the tab key. So basically we're saying subtract 40 points from where this is, and keep your eye on this when I hit tab. So I'm going to hit it now, so it moves it over 40, and then we just change that from 0 to 40 so that it pushes it down 40. Then we are going to just make sure that these are not overlapped or touching anything, and then we're going to select everything, and we want the align tool. Now I already have mine out here, but if you do not, what you do is you just go to Window and Align, and let's see, it doesn't look like those are selected anymore. They are now. Okay, so with the Align tool, we're going to use this option, which aligns them all to each other at the top edge. So we now have them all at the right height. Then we're going to use this option right here, which distributes them horizontally. And so you can see now they all have the same distance. Now, there is something wrong here. This distance looks great, so greater than it was on the corner, so my math must be off here. Back to the drawing board. Let's see where my math went wrong. So as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if we visualize this as the 1, 2, 3, 4 at 320, that's still the same. And then I see what the problem was I, for some reason, just wrote down 80 here. So the number should be 1480, and luckily, like I said, that's really easy to fix in this program. You just go into the width from the properties, meaning you don't want to click on anything. Just want to be in properties with nothing selected, and then we can go ahead and just change that to 1480, and then we'll just have a little adjustment to make here. We'll move these a little bit closer, put this back at the corner, subtract 40 from the X, and hit tab, and then put 40 on the Y, and then we will select all of them, go back to the align the tops, and distribute the horizontal centers. So good. Now we probably have the height off too, but let's just do one thing at a time here. So next we are going to go into the library and get the next couple out. So we'll go 5, 6, and as we bring these out, we'll let the computer try to help us put them into place, and whether we get them all right where we want them, usually we can get the width set up, and the computers are getting really smart at being able to judge these distances. Let's see if it got it right. So to test that, we'll just zoom way in here. And what we can do now, it doesn't look like it's perfect. We can make our own little measuring stick here. So we'll grab the rectangle tool, and we'll just make a rectangle. And if we select that and look in properties, it should tell us its height, so like a half pixel off, so I'll just change that to 40. And then I'll kind of take this down here and use it as a measuring stick. So that's one way we can do this. The other way is we can pay attention to the numbers in the box, and I'll actually show you both ways, because the numbers is really actually the best way to do this. Like, we know this is right because that white line shows up when we move it and lets us know that it's aligned, but this was not right. The distance above it was not correct. So another way to do that would be figure out what we have here, right? 40 plus 180 for the height, which equals 260. So if we click on this and we look at its Y position, it's 260, and the X is 40. So we're good there. Then what we can do is just take and move these down below this one. Select all 4 of them. Use the Align tool again to align their tops. And then if this we just look at this number is 1120 in the X position. This one's also 1120, so we know that's good. Then we can just select all of them and then just make sure that the distribution of the horizontal centers is correct, which it looks like it was because nothing moved. And then we go on and we'll do another row with that same finesse. Now, another thing that you could do that might be like a little bit quicker is you could put in all of your left ones, and so you just have to figure out which ones you want out. So if you numbered these like I did, that'll definitely help. So we know it's our first, our fifth, and it should be the ninth, and so on. So in multiples of fours from there. So we'll grab the ninth one, bring that out, and what we'll do is we'll get it fairly close, but definitely too far to the right and too close together. Then the next one from there should be the 13th. Then the next one after that would be the 17th. And then we know that we got the height off, so we got to finish out the height. So let's go back and do our math again. I think all we have to do is replace 80 with 40. Yeah, so I corrected the math up here. Let's just correct it right here by changing this to 40. So that should be 1140. Let's go into animate and give that a shot at 1140. So click on nothing, go to properties, change the height to 1140. And then we're going to take this one, put it down in the very bottom corner, let it snap into place, and then we're going to change the X to 40, get it 40 pixels from that left edge, and then we're going to subtract out 40 from this number here. So minus 40, there we go. Now we just select all of this and go back to the alignment, align it to the left, and then we just have to get we'll grab all 5 of them this time, and we will go to distribute, and this time we're going to select this one, distribute vertical center. Oops, something did not go right there. Let's try that one more time. Okay. Oh, I think I know why, because we have this little yellow bit in here. So let me see if I can grab just that. Delete. Okay. Now we go back and we distribute. There's still a little artifact of something left up there. So let's get that. I'm going to just zoom way in and make sure I got rid of all this garbage, and I'll come back to you. What happened was when I drew that little, measuring stick that I made, it had a stroke on it. It left a stroke behind there. So to get rid of it, I ended up just moving this aside, doing a big selection here, deleting, then putting this back up at the corner, and then doing the plus 40 and 40. So we should be good here with our 40, 40. And let's now grab all of this and distribute these right here, and there we go. Now it should be easier to put in the remaining ones with the hints and the snapping. This row I had good luck with the alignments vertically but not horizontally, so we'll just select all 3 of those, hold down the shift key, click on this one, go to align, and this time we will align the bottoms. There we go. And we'll keep doing that. It goes without saying that you would have all drawings, no numbers in here, right? I just did the numbers just so that I could demo this without having to make a complete animation. And one more row to go. Now to get this so that we can look at it, and any program that recognizes a JPEG, we're just going to simply do a file, export image, and make a JPEG. And this time we want it at 100% but maximum quality again. And I just named that storyboard, put it in the same folder, but if I double click on that, it'll open it in preview, or we could open it in Photoshop, And there is our storyboard.